Crosbyton, okay. Good morning. Give me just a second. I'm typing something in here. I'm doing an article from the database very quickly. Just because the people who turned in drafts before like 8 o'clock last night, I got them all looked at, but what I was seeing were some errors in works cited. And so what I'm going to do right now is I was doing one for the textbook. If you're not using the textbook, if you're quoting from the No Fear Shakespeare, you'll have to do I will show you in a second how to do that. But right now what I'm going to show you is a works cited with the textbook and one article, and then I want to show you an issue that I discovered that I've noticed it's happened, okay? So I'm going to switch over to except Crosbyton's not with us. Well, we're recording it, so there's no video today, so I'll be able to post the link to this one. So, what I've got right here is I have two documents. The first one, I basically made up most of the information, but I wanted to show you how to do multiple authors. So, I actually took a name of a published author, and these are a couple of people I know. Actually, one of them is a facilitator, and one of them is a friend. So here you've got the author. The first author is always reversed because that's the one that when you put it into a database, when you stick it on the shelf, the first author is always the one whose name goes opposite, last name first, because that's what it's alphabetized by. Everybody else is first name, then last name. So Legier, Michael V., then you have Kyle Knetzer and Joey Hanaway. Here's the title of the article that was found in the databases. Again, don't look for this one. I made it up. Hamlet is a picture of madness. Please notice it's in quotation marks, and there's a period here at the end of the title right there. Let me make it a little bit bigger. The Journal of Renaissance it helps if I spell the word right, literature. That is the title of the original publication. There's a comma, and then you have the volume, if there is one. You have the number of the publication. A volume means how many years it's been published. A number is normally how many times it's published a year. So it depends on how many publications. A lot of scholarly journals are published quarterly, so you would tend to have 4 numbers. Then you give the month of publication and the year, a comma. Then you've got the page numbers that it appears on in that particular journal. You have the database, and then you have, here is the internet address. Now, what I did was I went in and I copied an internet address. And even though I didn't highlight it in brown, when I copied it in and I was going to load it in, it came in as brown. There's no way to get rid of that color. That's why you can't just literally copy, cut, and paste these in, because you will get sections that look like this brown section, okay? You don't want that. That's not good. That doesn't need to be there. Now, I'm going to zoom out now because I want you to look and see how it says works cited, and you can see the formatting. See how that first line on the citation is flush left? All the other lines indent 5. It's called a hanging indent is what that is, okay? And if you don't know how to do that, I will open up a Word document and show you how to do that again. The second entry happens to be for the textbook. If you're working out of the textbook, you don't have to change this. This is exactly how it should be. I will put this in Blackboard once we get done. See how it's got Shakespeare, William? Then it has the title of the play, which is Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. That is italicized. Now, when you refer to that in your papers, you don't have to say Hamlet, Prince of Denmark every time you talk about the title of the book, okay? That gets long. You can just italicize the word Hamlet, and that way I know as the reader that you're talking about the play. If it's not italicized, you're indicating the character. The title of our textbook is also italicized, Literature, Craft, and Voice. Then there's a comma. Then we have the editors. You don't have to do anything to this particular document, okay? That one's ready to go. So if you were to copy, cut, and paste that one, it would be okay. So that's just, I'm going to put that in there so that you can see how to do an article from the database. If you don't have volumes and numbers, you omit that. If all you have is like 24 April 2007, you just give the date. That's all you've got to do. It's not that, it's not that confusing. If you miss a piece of information, you go on to the next one. So that is what the works site is supposed to look like. What I have seen coming in on the draft so far, most of the time, is you have reversed that formatting. You have the first lines indented and all the other lines are go back flush left. Make it look like I have it in this sample. And because the less time I have to spend correcting your works cited, the happier I'm going to be, the better your grade's going to be. So take advantage of this. Now, you can do what I did. You know how I copied that, the URL for the article from the database? You can copy it below and then just type that up in there so that it looks correct. So what I'm going to show you right now is how to do the hanging indent. Do you guys know how to do it? You may shake, a lot of times kids go, I know how to do it, and then when they have no clue. So I'm going to go ahead and show you one more time how to do a hanging indent, just to be safe. So I'm just going to open up a new document because the works cited should be the last page. It shouldn't start on your last page. Say your essay's 2 1/4 pages long. Don't just have return a space and type works cited. It should be its own separate page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a new document, and I'm going to go with the notion that I've typed, and this is page 3 or page 4 of my paper. So one of the issues you've got to look at is, first things first, you've got a double space. So you come over to the paragraph. Where is it at? I'm missing some stuff here. Oh, I wonder if I'm working out of a different one. This is weird. This is weird. Do you guys see the double space thing? Paragraph. It should be here somewhere. That's drawing borders. Here we go. It's this one. So I make sure I've got it down to 2 here. So now I'm double spaced, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to hit center, and I'm going to type works cited. If I spelled it correctly, that would help. And please notice, you have to have at least 2 sources, at least 3 sources on your paper. You have to have the text that you quote from, the play, and then 2 outside sources. All right, so I've got works cited here, but as I'm looking at it, I'm going to hit enter so that I'm off of that line. I'm going to go back to flush left, and I've got to be able to see a ruler. So I go up to view up here, and I click on this, and I want to go ruler, because that gives me, see how I get the line up there that gives me the ruler? So to get a hanging indent, I'm just literally going to copy an entry out of the guide. You know what I'm working from? Did any of you guys get this when you bought the textbooks? Did you get this nice little MLA 8th edition?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is what I'm working out of. This is how I know if I'm doing it right or not. So how about if I just make up another article so that we've got a couple. How about a website? Would you like me to do a website? That might be the best one to do. Hold on, I'm looking in here. All right. So I'm going to start off typing somebody's name so that I've got some letters in there. So this is the guy's name. I'm actually looking at a blog posting. Chris. Now that I've gotten in here, I want to create my hanging indent. Oh, it would help if I put it back on the screen. Don't say, wake up, lady. All right, so now that I've got the author's name in there, I'm going to come over and hold down the Shift key. I'm going to keep it held down. I'm going to come up here, and I don't know. Let me see if this gets any bigger as I do this. Can you see the 2 little, there, right here, this is the actual margin, the 1-inch margin. there's two little triangles. There's the first line indent, there's the left indent. I want to hold down my shift key, click on that left indent, the hanging indent, because it says it, and I'm going to move it halfway between the gray space and the 1, and that's how I create my hanging indent. Now I'm going to go on and type my title. Uh-oh. Y'all see what I left it italicized. I thought I'd gotten the italicizing off of it. Let's see. Now I took it off now. Do you see what it did? I did not do that. I just kept typing. Yeah, this last down. Okay, that's what that one looks like. So all I did, once you put your hanging indent in, and do it on your first citation. If you're going to do this all on your own, do it on your first citation. If you'll do it after you type the author's last name and first name, then every time you do it, it'll be fine. So say I finished my internet address here. When I hit enter, because I didn't continue typing, it'll take me back /left. It also underlines the internet address. All I have to do is go Control-Z, and it will take that off so that you don't have the underlining. Did y'all get that? Put the hanging indent in after you put the name in. Once you get done with the internet address, hit enter or finish your information. If you underline the internet address, just go Control-Z. That takes off the last thing you did. You guys got that? So there we go. There is works cited. Now, a lot of people didn't turn in a draft. You guys are aware that that was extra 25 points. That was a bonus thing right there. Let me go see if anybody else has gotten them in, okay? And I noticed some of you did not take the quiz. All right? I'm actually going to go in the grade center and see what's in here, because I had everything graded as of about 9 o'clock last night. It's moving slowly on me. There we go. All right, I'm just going to pull up your documents, and I'm going to race through them. Those of you that I've already done, if you want to go online and look at them, please do. This is what I'll do. I come up here, and what I've been doing, this is so I can read it so you can see it, okay? I come up here and I look, and I can see Kayla. All right, so I see she's got a thesis. Good job, Kayla.
Thank you.
I'm kind of glancing on here, though. I'm not sure about your first body paragraph. So I'm assuming that you're going to talk about how her relationships drive her crazy, right? So if that's the case, then maybe your topic sentence for this paragraph, second paragraph, needs to talk about her relationship with her father, Polonius. Am I seeing that correctly? Is that what you're going to do in this paragraph?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so make sure you go back to make sure the topic sentence relates back to the thesis. This sounds to me like you're going to give me some background, okay? All right, so I'm not picking on you, okay, sweetheart, don't think that. I see right here you've got Laertes says and you've got a comma. Let me see how much bigger I can make this for everybody. All right, here we go. It's just easier to show you examples and stuff. Right here you've got Laertes says and a comma. You are not writing dialogue. You're writing a quote. So you do not need that comma in there before you begin your quote. Now, the main thing I notice wrong with your quote is that when you quote poetry, or when you quote from a play that's written as poetry, you have to have slashes at the end of the line. So and what I'm seeing here is you've got Act 1, Scene 3. I'm going to flip over there to it. And what you didn't give me were line numbers. You have Act 1, Scene 3, but there are no line numbers, so you need line numbers in there. Larry says, for Hamlet and the trifling of his favor. Where is that one? Let me see. All right, so that looks like it's line 5. So what needs to go? You need to get rid of Act. You need to get rid of Scene. And Scene needs to be lowercase. Okay, so what you've got, I'm going to come over here. So you guys are actually watching what I do when I make comments in there. Oh. Scene 3. And line numbers 5 through, I'm trying to see where you're quoting. No more. So that would be 9, 5 through 9. So this is how it should read. So it's good that we're doing this today, 5 through 9. This is what parenthetical reference should look like. So when we go back over here, you've got for Hamlet and the trifling of his favor. You need a slash right there. Okay? Hold it in a fashion and toy in blood. You need a slash after blood. After that comma, you need another slash after nature. What I'm trying to see is going to let me see if it'll let me do this. I don't think it's going to let me copy it. I was going to try though. Oh, that's the problem when I do that. It makes it too big. Okay, that won't work. Do you see though where you need the slashes? Remember, go back to that how to do a literary analysis when it talks about poetry. Okay. So like later on in that paragraph, you also have a couple of other responses. You still have to give me line numbers. If it's still in the same scene, you have to give me the line numbers. You can't just omit line numbers. Because particularly if you're talking like Act 5, Scene 2, that's the final scene in the play. There's lots of lines in it. I have to have line numbers. And they are done in normal or Arabic numerals, all right? So I'm going to go scroll down here and look at your works cited. All right, you're missing a little bit on your first article, the Pruitt article. We need that, the URL for that one. And you've almost got Shakespeare right, except you've got it in quotation marks. Remember, deciding whether to do italics or quotation marks depends on the length of the document. Something that's only 3 pages long, that's going to be in quotation marks. Something that's almost 100 pages long is going to be italicized. So you've just got to fix that part of it, okay? But the rest of it looks pretty good. All right, Kayla? You didn't use you or I did.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You don't have any, and so look, see, 25 right there. Let's see, that's nice and easy. So it moves on to the next one. Let's see, we're up to, hi, Carla. All right, so it looks like, I like the fact, here I am talking about your paper and I don't have it up. I like the fact that you have thesis next to it, but obviously you're going to remove those before you turn them in, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Of course.
Okay, all right. All right, so you say therefore the mystery of death is a prominent theme throughout Shakespeare's play Hamlet. First off, the mystery of death is not a theme. It's not, a theme is a complete sentence. So you've got to be careful about that. And if it's Shakespeare's play, he owns it, so it needs to be possessive, okay? Throughout the play, the idea of death is closely tied to things. Spirit should be certain. All right, so I'm going back up here. I'm looking at what just happened? Why isn't it allowing me? Now, see if I can go up this way. There we go. Therefore, the mystery of death is a prominent theme. Okay. I like the fact that you're using Hamlet. I would use the character's name at least in every other paragraph if you're focusing on him, but don't begin every sentence with Hamlet. So watch out for that. You have 4 sentences in this paragraph. One of them's really long. Be careful. Body conclusion. You are definitely short on your draft, okay? Obviously, there's going to be more paragraphs in the middle.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so make sure I would go if the mystery of death or what happens. Don't call it the theme. Say it is a prominent motif or question asked. Don't call it theme, and then you can still work with it. But I would focus on your paper. Focus on all those times he talks about whether to be alive or dead. Okay, that should be the things you focus on.
Okay, thank you.
No works cited yet, right?
No, I was gonna wait until the actual paper to do the whole one.
Okay, all right. So you got there. I'm giving you credit for the draft. Okay. Sorry. Who's up next? Michaela. Michaela's like, oh no, don't do that. Michaela, you're the one that couldn't. Are you the one who had trouble with the quiz that it wouldn't keep your answers right, and it's in the message?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Remind me if we get to next week and I haven't graded your message and put that in for you, remind me that it's in the messages. Okay.
Okay.
Don't put quotation marks around girlfriend, okay? That's just, it's a modern term used to talk about it. You could call it his lover, his, significant other, but don't put quotation marks around it. But okay with the thesis. All right, so you're going to do Hamlet's feelings for his mother and his girlfriend are similar in many aspects, but stem from decidedly different origins. So when you do this, because you said mother and girlfriend, here you say Ophelia and Gertrude. Do you see the conflicting message you're sending about organization? Whenever you talk about them in the same order. So if you go Ophelia, Gertrude, and then you go mother and girlfriend, we see how that's a conflict. For me to subconsciously analyze the organization, I need those to be in the same order. And then I look at your first sentence and it said Hamlet is a depressed teenager throughout the play. Hamlet is 30 years old. He's not a depressed teenager. But he acts like a depressed teenager, okay? So you're giving us Hamlet's concept, yet you told us you're going to talk about his feelings for his mother and his girlfriend. Be consistent about what you're doing, okay? Are you going to talk about, well, I'm seeing Ophelia first, so just be sure you follow the order you give me in your thesis, okay? Get thee to a nunnery, you can say Shakespeare fine, but you've got to tell me act, scene, and line number, okay? All right, Michaela?
Okay.
All right, you've got Chamberlain. When you say Chamberlain on this, okay, let's see. Is there a works cited with yours? There it is. All right, needs to be double spaced. You can see, obviously, you have centered these. Is that right? That's what it looks like. Those are centered. You need to come off of centered. They need to be double spaced and do that hanging indent, and then you've got to add whatever version of Shakespeare you're using, okay?
Okay.
Back up where you quote from Chamberlain that first time. Where is that at? Let me find it. Here it is. Chamberlain notes. Why don't you introduce this quote by going, Stephanie Chamberlain, in her article, Fatal Indulgences, Gertrude and the Perils of Excess in Early Modern London, discusses, by giving me the full author's name and then the title of the article, it becomes a little bit more legitimate. It makes it just sound more academic. Wouldn't you agree? By giving me all that extra information. It also makes your paper longer when you add that in. When you introduce the quote by telling me who said it and what article it was in, it helps. Let's see. So that's that one. When you come up stone here, and I don't have any problems with you not introducing it. Hamlet's trying to keep this. Let's see. Hamlet strives to keep those precious thoughts inside of him, mind, something wrong there, and is continuously fighting the sexual contaminations. Okay, that one's okay. Thinking you probably need, if you're going to quote about both, you need body paragraphs for both characters. Do you have that? Since I'm scrolling around, it's hard for me to tell.
No, ma'am, they're in the same paragraph.
You need to have 2 paragraphs because you're basically comparing and contrasting his feelings towards them, correct? Right? So we need to...
The contrasts are in one paragraph and the similarities are in the other paragraph.
That's not what you told me you were going to do. So that's a little bit... So we got to be consistent about that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So, well... All right, so you did say it, okay. So make sure then, if that's what you're doing, then make sure your first body paragraph says, this is about the similarities. And then this is about the differences. And that's got to be in those topic sentences. You can't just kind of Hamlet is a depressed teenager does not tell me you're doing similarities, okay? So, but then be sure throughout both of those, when you split them into the differences, split it into 2 paragraphs, make sure that you do what you say here, Gertrude first and Ophelia, or if you're going to do Ophelia first every time, just change your thesis to reflect you're doing Ophelia first, okay? But other than that,
yes,
looks interesting, okay? But organization is all about being consistent in the presentation of material. All right, so next up is Valeria. Oops. Let me get over here. Was Hamlet in love with Ophelia? Okay. All right, so make sure you capitalize the H in Hamlet. All right, this is not a paper where you get to say, I do believe. This is not a first person. I know it's what you believe, but you don't get to write that in the paper, okay? So you can just begin after that for your thesis. At one point in the play, Hamlet did love her, but by pretending he's going mad, he lost her love little by little, okay? So just get rid of the I do believe. All right, in this play, Hamlet was more focused on getting revenge. All right, so if you're going to talk about how he did love her, but that his mad actions do it, then you need to go back to that. So you actually begin your paper here. So these 2 sentences are kind of not what you need. The first 2 sentences of that body paragraph need to go somewhere else. Throughout Act 1, comma, Hamlet shows, don't say did show, just say shows that he did love Ophelia and that there was get rid of that comma. Now this is kind of a conflict because you're saying he shows it, but then you say her brother tells her that he doesn't love her. So I don't know, and when you insert Laertes into your paper, you're getting off topic. Does that make sense? Because you're talking about Hamlet's relationship with her, not Laertes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so, and I see you've got, let's go right down here. No. I'm going to blow it up again a little more. Down here where you've got your quote, obviously you need slashes in your quote from the play. And then you've got right here at where the quote ends, you've got a period inside the quotation marks. That period does not belong. There's no ending punctuation at a quote where a quote ends because parenthetical reference is part of it. It's supposed to be Act 1, comma, space, Scene 3, comma. Give me those line numbers. You don't have them in there, okay? Are you going throughout the acts? Okay, you're going, it looks like you're, all right. So first off, try not to be so tied to doing Act 1, Act 2, and Act 5 because she's dead. So watch out for that. Make sure you got those flashes. At the end of the day, comma, this could be taken 2 or more ways. Don't ever use numbers like that. Spell it out. When you can spell out a number in one word, you're supposed to do it. All right, you have a quote here. Hamlet formally denies, this is in your conclusion, denies his love for others, witness in his rejection of Ophelia, but cannot jettison, you don't tell me who that's from. All right, and you actually have a comma, a period and a comma. So there's some, I'm not sure what you're doing there, but that would be a comma splice. But you've got a period, so see there's a conflict in there. Fix this. If it's its own sentence, put parenthetical reference at the end of it, then the period that ends the sentence, and capitalize that T, and get rid of the quotes around madness over here. If I see you say, this quote states that in the poem that Hamlet had written to Ophelia shows that he loves her, but at the same time not. You've got another quote here, and I have no clue where it's from. So you got to give that to me, okay? And I see some, I'm not really sure what all you got here. Okay, Literature Resource Center. What's the name of the article? Hamlet? Italicized?
I copied the citation that was on the works.
Just be sure that you make it its own page, and you also need whatever text you're quoting from the play, okay? We're all right on that. Are y'all okay with me doing this, going through everybody's papers very quickly? Hopefully I'll get, if I don't get to yours, I will write it in a box for you, okay? But every time I see something wrong in somebody's paper, maybe it will help you out if you've done the same thing. Next up is, let's see, Cameron. Ophelia character analysis, okay. Cameron, your first sentence, it can be said that one of William Shakespeare's most well-known plays is Hamlet. You don't need to say it can be said. And if you're going to talk about the play, you need to italicize the title. These are not the same size. Your heading and your title are bigger than the rest of the paper. Make everything the same size font. All right. It's a little rough from what I can tell. All right, Cameron? And it may be because you do so much in that first body paragraph, because you talk about who she is, who she's related to, and that she loves Hamlet. Be careful that you're not doing a lot of plot summary in there. If she's an important a character in the play, then you talk about how she's important. You need to talk about how she's important because she is the daughter of the chief advisor to the king. She is a woman of higher rank, and so therefore she's that potential love interest. So what does there only being these two characters, what's her chief role in the play? So look at it that way. And so what I'm seeing, there are no quotes from anything. You've got to get those done, okay? And no works cited. So make sure you're finding that information, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
So don't just retell the play, because I already know the play. Make sure that you give me some insight into how she's different. All right, so we come up to Connor. Hey, Connor, how's it going?
Good.
Okay, I like Why So Indecisive, Prince Hamlet. Nice title. Don't make it bold. There's absolutely no reason to do that. Okay? All right. If you ask is a question a thesis?
No.
All right, so you've given me a question as your last sentence of your introduction. Okay. I don't think you need it. I don't think you need the main question, though. It's not was Hamlet indecisive, but why was he so indecisive? All right. So when I look at your first body paragraph, you go in Act 1, Scene 5. You're actually giving me evidence. You've got to have a topic sentence first, okay? And you see you've got that comma in front of the quote. Get rid of it. Oh, sorry, no. Get rid of the comma. The Ghost of King Hamlet says, revenge most foul. You need the slash. I don't know if you need it. Tell me something to do set. What you need at the end of here in parenthetical reference, what are you missing in that reference on that quote? Do you know?
The line.
The line numbers. Yeah, you can't just give me Act 1, Scene 5. I have to have line numbers as well. Now, if you're quoting from No Fear Shakespeare, are any of you going to be quoting from the No Fear Shakespeare? I don't have a problem with that. Just make sure that when you quote from the Renaissance English side, not the translated side. Because the line numbers will be off. Because, for one thing, the line numbers don't match then. Because a lot of times when they translate it, it leaves poetical form. So make sure I get the line numbers. If nothing else, it will get me close to what they are in the textbook. Okay? I got to have the line numbers. So what's the point of this paragraph? What is your first reason? I'm kind of glancing through there.
It's just to give an idea, like the first theory on why Prince Hamlet was indecisive.
But you haven't told me what the theory is. I'm not sure the purpose of this paragraph, okay? You say there are many theories, but you still haven't given me one. And I'm now on page 2, okay? All right. Once again, on Hamlet's procrastination should probably not be italicized. It should be in quotation marks, okay? Okay. Because you've got I can't say this guy's name. You think I would be able to. You don't need the name because you have the name in both of those previous sentences, okay, Connor? I'm reading your next quote. All right. Here you've got Freud. Get rid of the period at the end of that quote. Make Freud part of that sentence, the parenthetical reference. That should probably be an offset quote. Go look at that, how to write a literary analysis. That shows how to do it. Okay, parenthetical reference here, and at the end of this, stop. At the end of this particular page, you've got it always goes at the end of the sentence. You got that, Connor? Not at the end of the quote, at the end of the sentence. If you're talking about plays Hamlet and Macbeth, those need to be italicized. I wouldn't say these are just two major and competing theories about why he's so hesitant. If you, with that just in there, what you're saying is, I'm only giving you two, there are a lot more. Don't ever say there's a lot more in your conclusion that you're not doing, okay? Works cited. The biggest problem with your works cited needs to be in alphabetical order. And obviously fix Hamlet. This is the actual, wait. All right, on the interpretation of dreams and on dreams, you're actually quoting from Sigmund Freud, not a problem. This one, again, if you've got it in quotation marks up here, it's in quotation marks on the other. You just need the URL. All right, thanks, Connor. Scroll over here. Now the papers are due Sunday night, right? Oh, there's a quiz. Let me come, hold on. You don't need to, I'm not gonna show you my whole grade-book. Oh, let me make this smaller so I can go back and fix things. Okay. It's amazing what happens here. So I'm gonna go in and look at the next papers. Is this been helpful so far, what we're doing? Is it okay? You tell me. Madalena, you're the next one up, okay? All right, you know I can't open that up. It's a GDoc. It won't open. You want to see what happens? This is what happens when you send me a GDoc. I have no programs to open it up, so I can't help you. You've got to do it in Word, or if you can't do it, you can save a GDoc as an RTF file. You have to make a point to be sure and do that, okay? All right, so we'll go on to the next one. Hey, Hunter. There we go. All right. Mainly uses this humor to provide comic relief as well as humor. Okay. Sounds like an interesting one. Ooh, look at that. So it's Act 1, Scene 2, line 1118? Or would that be the page number? What do you think, Hunter? I'm guessing that's the page number.
Yes, ma'am. I know it's line number. I'll change it.
Okay. Well, I mean, my first clue that it's not a line number is that none of the play goes up to line 1118. Okay. Get rid of the comma after the R, A-R-E. Okay. All right. Again, you've got probably one quote in there. Your third quote, at a guess, probably needs a slash. Thrift ratio, the funeral bank needs, yeah, there should be a slash in there somewhere. All right, so Hamlet also uses wordplay in the story by saying, my wit's diseased, Newman. That's going to be on your works cited. Oh, there it is. Ooh. The only thing I would recommend, Hunter, is get rid of the blank space between them, okay? Just go back on your document and delete that so that there's no extra space in there. But that looks pretty good. All right, so if you're having any trouble, y'all ask Hunter. He's got it right. Oh, and it should be works cited because there's more than one. All right. Wilson, 37. I see Wilson, comma, 37. You do not need the comma in there. I know you don't. It's not necessary. It just so happens, it's good that I stopped on there. You've got, the play is called, quotation marks, italicized, half of the murder of and then Gonzaga. No quotation marks around it. The play should be italicized. That's it. The murder of Gonzaga. All right? Or is that what your author did? Watch out for that, okay? I don't understand. And by the way, Wilson 37 goes at the end of the sentence, as does this. So that's a tricky one when you have two kind of quoted materials in a sentence. It's good that you did that so I can point it out. All right? You would put Wilson first at the end of your sentence, which is way down here. You're going to put Wilson, no comma, 37. Then you're going to have a semicolon, and then you're going to put 3-2 and the line number. All of that in one set of parentheses at the end. Let me show you real quick what I'm talking about. I don't remember the scene, line number. Okay, so that's what, well, did I not put the, I didn't put that opening. All right, so that's what it should look like at the end of the sentence. Got it, Hunter?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Um, you've got your quote here. One example of this is when he's talking to York Skull. He says, get rid of the comma. Not one now to mock your own grinning, quite chop fallen. Put the slash in if you need it. You still put a period here outside that parenthetical reference because you're not asking a question in your sentence. What you're quoting is, it's okay to have that question mark in there, but you still need a period to end your sentence. Okay, looks pretty good. Let's see. Okay, I'm still adding more to the paper. Okay, so Marisol's not ready to go. Is that what I'm seeing then, Marisol? If you have any questions, feel free to send me messages over the weekend. I'll do my best, but I'll tell you right now, I don't stay up I will not be on my computer probably after 8:30, 9 o'clock on Saturday or Sunday night. So don't send me something at 10 o'clock and expect me to respond to it, because I won't. I'm just being honest. Okay.
Ms. Thompson?
Uh-huh.
I sent my draft. I resent it in a message for it to be like a Microsoft Word.
Okay.
Like it's just.
Oh, okay. Is that Maddie?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'll come back to. Oh, I better do it now or I'll forget it. Okay. Because I've got it blown up so big, it kind of knocks things down. Course messages. Okay. Oh, I've got 3 messages this morning. Laptop issues again. All right. Okay, the only thing I have to say is, if you forget to turn it in as a Word document and I can't open it up, I'm not going to ask you for it. This is our end of our second semester together. You guys need to realize you have to turn it in a form I can open it up. I'm not going to have time to be chasing down documents. You've got to make sure you get it turned in correctly. All right, here we go, Maddie. All right. Whew, we're almost out of time. The rest of you, I promise I'll get to yours. I've got that 3 hours in my office. I'll be going over them. Okay, get your quotation marks around love, gone. They don't need to be there. The other thing, Maddie, is you say this play reveals symbols, and then you go and affected. You need to make the tense consistent, so say affects the main storyline, okay? A series of unfortunate events. Where have I heard that? The play reveals symbols. I'm assuming you're going to talk about symbols, because that's the first thing mentioned. All right. So you see here when you're quote from Ophelia, when Ophelia says, and with them words of so sweet breath composed, it's a single line. Get rid of that period. Take your parenthetical reference, put it down at the end of the sentence down here, okay? And use commas, not periods, and a space after the comma. All right. Again, parenthetical reference always at the end of the sentence, not the end of the quote. There's a new character, Hamlod. Okay. Watch out for those red words telling you that you misspelled it. All right. So What I'm seeing so far is your thesis says reveal symbols, but I haven't seen a single thing that talks about symbols yet. So if you're not going to talk about symbols, get rid of it, okay? And now you're talking about Ophidius turning insane. What does that have to do with symbols? What does that have to do with love? Get rid of those quotes around the word insane. All right, so you're giving me this nice long quote about what the flowers stand for, and here's symbolism. So make your thesis fit the order. If you're going to talk about love first, put the love first in your thesis, okay? Okay, I see you got your slashes in here. Awesome job. Except put a space right after where you've got the word. You know how you've got all in the morning bedtime. It should be bedtime. I don't think it's bedtime. Put a space in after the E so that it's not smushed up against it. So put the space at the front end of the slash too. This suggests, that's why you're getting the blue there. You need the S after the T. Okay. You don't say he took her virginity. You either say he took her virginity or he takes her virginity. But you won't say had took. All right? That looks like I'm probably not going to be able to get through much else today. Oh, wait, we've got a quote here that's not part of the sentence, period, inside that quote. Remember, parenthetical reference gets the period, not inside the quotation marks. Make your thesis fit the order in which you talk about the stuff. I'm not sure why this is indented. Since I am looking at a Word document, this actually needs to go back. Let's see. Oh, look. All right. I'm just going to throw a hanging indent in here real quick. Up there they went bye-bye. And no text. Second semester with these kids, and they still turn in documents I can't open. And so I just said, if you cannot, by the end of the second semester, remember that you can't turn in a GDoc, I'm not going to tell you. I'll just give you 0. Sorry, that's how it is. Got it? There's nothing like looking at a blank screen. Well, it helps if I don't hit PC. Okay. Interesting. All right, I've blown it up. I just sat here and went through papers is what I did. After talking about the works cited. Got to do it. That's the easiest way to get it done.
So, are you gonna write notes and stuff if we turn in a rough draft?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually, everybody that's turned in one, there were only 2 people in your section that had drafts in by 9 o'clock last night.
I turned mine in at 11.
Yeah, I don't stay up late. That's just, old lady going on.
But, cause I'm writing it, but I don't know if I'm doing it right.
And I just once again wrote, make sure to turn in a Word doc for the final. Even more interesting